One of the hardest things in crypto isn't buying, it isn't holding, it isn't even doing the research. The hardest thing, without question, is selling. It's exiting when everything in your gut is screaming at you to hold a little longer. It's taking profit when the charts look like they're only going up, when everyone on social media is calling for higher prices, when your friends are bragging about their gains and telling you you'd be stupid to sell now. That's the trap, because every cycle, people make life-changing gains on paper, and then they give it all back because they don't have an exit plan. I've seen it happen over and over again, and that's exactly why in this video, I want to share with you my crypto exit strategy for the 2025 bull run. This is the strategy I'm personally following step by step to make sure I lock in profits, protect myself from the inevitable crash, and actually walk away from this bull run with more than just stories of what could have been. The first thing you need to understand is that the market moves in cycles. We're not in uncharted territory here. Bitcoin halvings happen every 4 years. Supply tightens, demand picks up, prices rise, the entire crypto market follows, and eventually we peak. Then just as quickly things turn. Prices crash, liquidity dries up, and projects that seemed unstoppable start collapsing. This has happened again and again, and it will happen again in 2025. So my exit strategy starts with accepting that truth. I don't fool myself into thinking this time will be different. I don't believe the hype that says crypto will just go up forever. That's how you get wrecked. My mindset is clear. There will be a peak, and I need to prepare for it now, not later. So how do I prepare? It starts with targets. Before the bull run even reaches its peak, I set price targets for my major holdings. Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, whatever I'm holding, I write down realistic levels where I'm going to sell a portion. For example, with Bitcoin, I might set targets at 75,000, 100,000, and 150,000. With Ethereum, maybe 6,000, 8,000, and 10,000. These aren't random numbers. They're based on historical patterns, technical analysis, and what's realistic given the market cycle. The point isn't to guess the exact top. The point is to make sure I'm scaling out gradually, locking in profit along the way, so I don't end up paralyzed at the peak wondering what to do. And that brings me to the most important part of my exit plan, scaling out. I don't sell everything at once. That's impossible to time perfectly. Instead, I take profit in chunks, 10% here, 15% there, another chunk higher up. This way, I'm averaging my exits just like people average their entries. If the market goes higher than I expect, I still have skin in the game. If it tops sooner, I've already locked in enough to be safe. This strategy takes the pressure off. I don't need to nail the exact top. I just need to systematically take risk off the table as the market gets overheated. But how do I know when the market is overheated? That's where signals come in. I don't just rely on price. I look at sentiment. When mainstream media is running daily stories about Bitcoin hitting new highs, when your barber is talking about crypto, when new meme coins are exploding every day, that's a signal. I also watch on-chain data. When long-term holders start selling, when exchange inflows spike, when funding rates on futures are ridiculously high, those are signs the market is frothy. In 2021, I ignored some of those signs and held too long on a few positions. Not this time. In 2025, I'm committed to respecting the data, not my emotions. Another key part of my exit strategy is diversifying how I take profits. It's not just about converting everything to cash. For some holdings, I rotate into stablecoins like USDC or USTD, which I can then use in DEFI or hold for the next bear market. For others, I might rotate into Bitcoin or Ethereum if I think they'll hold value better than altcoins. And yes, I also take some profits into fiat real cash in the bank because at the end of the day, that's what pays for real-life goals. A house, a car, financial security. I don't want my future tied entirely to numbers on a screen that can vanish overnight. Now let's talk about altcoins because this is where most people get destroyed. In every bull run, altcoins pump harder than Bitcoin and Ethereum. They give you those insane gains 10 times, 20 times, sometimes even more. But they also crash harder. In 2018, many altcoins lost 95% of their value. Same thing in 2022. So my rule for 2025 is simple. I sell altcoins aggressively. If I'm up 5 times or 10 times, I'm taking big chunks off the table. I don't care if it keeps going higher. I'd rather leave money on the table than ride it all the way back down. Altcoins are not long-term holds for me. They're vehicles for gains, and those gains only matter if I actually lock them in. Something else I've built into my strategy is a re-entry plan. Because here's the truth. The bear market that follows the bull run is where generational wealth is built. That's when you can scoop up quality projects at massive discounts. But you can only do that if you've taken profit in the bull run. So part of my exit strategy is keeping stablecoins on the sidelines, ready to deploy when the bear market sets in. This way, I'm not just exiting, I'm positioning myself for the next cycle. I'm not thinking about crypto in terms of months, I'm thinking in terms of cycles. That's how smart money operates. Now let me be honest here. None of this is easy. Taking profit always feels wrong in the moment. When you sell and the price keeps going up, it stings. You feel like you messed up. But I remind myself, profit is profit. No one ever went broke taking profit. The people who get wiped out are the ones who refuse to sell because they want to catch the exact top. That's greed, and greed is the enemy in crypto. My strategy is designed to protect me from my own emotions, because at the end of the day, the biggest risk in crypto isn't the market, it's ourselves. Another part of my strategy is having clear personal goals. Why am I investing in crypto in the first place? For me, it's not just about numbers on a chart. It's about financial freedom. It's about securing my future, supporting my family, and creating opportunities. So when I set my exit plan, I tie it to those goals. If I hit a certain dollar amount that allows me to achieve something meaningful in my life, I take it. I don't gamble it away hoping for a little more. That keeps me grounded. It keeps me focused on the bigger picture instead of getting lost in the hype of the bull run. And finally, my exit strategy includes discipline. It's easy to write all this down now when the market is calm. It's much harder to follow through when prices are flying, when greed is in the air, and when everyone is telling you you're crazy for selling. That's why I automate where I can. I set limit orders in advance. I remind myself daily of the lessons from past cycles. And I surround myself with people who understand the importance of taking profit, not just chasing hype. Because environment matters. If you're only listening to Moon Boys on Twitter or YouTube telling you to never sell, you'll get sucked in. My strategy is about removing emotion and sticking to the plan no matter what. So to sum it all up, my exit strategy for the 2025 bull run is simple but powerful. I accept the cycle will end. I set price targets in advance. I scale out in chunks. I watch sentiment and on-chain data for signals. I rotate profits into stablecoins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and fiat. I sell altcoins aggressively. I keep capital ready for re-entry in the bear market. I tie my plan to personal goals. And above all, I stay disciplined. Because at the end of the day, the point of this bull run isn't to just ride the roller coaster, it's to actually get off with money in your pocket. And that's the message I want you to take away. Don't get caught in the trap of believing it will go up forever. Don't let greed convince you to hold everything to the top. Don't repeat the mistakes of past cycles. Have a plan, stick to it, and make sure this bull run leaves you better off than the last one. Because the truth is, the opportunities in crypto are endless, but only if you survive long enough to take them.